I don't know. Anyways, here we go. What's up, everyone? It's Alex.
And then I'm Beto.
Huh?
What?
What did you say?
You didn't hear me?
You said and then Beto or what?
And I'm Beto, and it's
Beto.
Oh, Beto.
Okay.
My name's Beto.
This is
Beto?
episode 3 of The Move.
Yeah. Damn, wait, if we were going to put the clip, shouldn't we have just kept talking?
Oh, we're good. Don't trip, bro. We got this. With the power of editing, anything's possible. All right. What's up, everyone? We're back with another episode 3. And I know we promised we're going to be in our Missouri studio, but things didn't pan out the way we thought.
I forgot my mic, bro. Yep. So we weren't able to do it. I wasn't going to buy a new mic, you know?
The airport took my barbecue sauce.
They tried. Oh, yeah.
No, they took it. They didn't care. That was the best barbecue.
We told them. We tried to tell them they're not going to let you through with that barbecue sauce, bro.
But even like, if I was a security guard, I'd be like, bro, all right, you know, where you from, Cali? Here, just take it. No, you gotta know.
Well, at that point, it just depends on who you got, you know.
Oh yeah, the lady
you didn't get lucky, bro.
She didn't care. She was just like, you can't have this, and she threw that shit aside. So it's a pretty sad day for me.
Am I all right? My lighting's okay?
Huh?
Yeah. My lighting's okay?
Well, now I just see your Pikachu on your chest. There you go.
It's okay, bro.
All right. Yeah, guys. So today, you want to tell everyone what the move is? What's the move for today?
Today specifically, well, should we wrap up? Like, I mean, I guess we already said we went to Missouri. We could just wrap up real quick.
Yeah, we went to Missouri to see our school friend, a friend that we've talked to for so long. He's been on that. Steve has been.
I think he's been on here in the last season or whatever.
In the last phase of the podcast. We're gonna go see him.
Yeah, he was on. He was on it. It was cool. It was a good time.
It was good. I never thought I'd ever go to Missouri for any particular reason, but that was a good one. I think I had a good time. Other than the cat scratching my face.
Mm-hmm.
But
we had some good barbecue. That shit was delicious.
Yeah. What was it? Was it called Q50?
Q39?
Q39? Check it out, bro. I went to Salt Lake City too. Look.
We had a layover in Salt Lake City, yeah.
We forgot to get souvenirs at Missouri, so we were like, you know what? We got Salt Lake City souvenirs.
Scratch something from Salt Lake City. Mm-hmm.
No one got to know that.
Okay, yeah.
That was just.
But yeah, we came back. I think it's been 2 days since we got back. We didn't record on Wednesday because fucking tired. I was so tired. Thursday we both had work. And today, yeah, you know, we're chilling.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Happy to be back.
So yeah, we apologize we didn't get a in-person episode off.
Yeah, we were just busy. I mean, I feel like we did a lot of things, and when we were chilling, we were generally like tired and chilling. Like we didn't really have energy to do anything. So yeah, that's the reason. So it's all Steve's fault. Anyways, yes. So now we'll transition to the move at hand. Beto.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. What is the move when you are trying to understand anxiety and depression? Damn.
Yeah, we're heading deep today, guys. We're heading deep.
Man, everybody's gonna be like, man. Well, when this comes out, obviously episode 2 will be out, and they'll be like, man, that's 2 serious topics in a row. Well, I guess, would you consider last week's topic?
I think it was neutral. I think it had some room for like some silly goose stuff, and you know. But I don't think it was too serious. I think this one will be a little bit serious. Yeah. It is, you know, depression and anxiety, and these are 2 things that, you know, we all have to encounter at least once in our lifetime, several times in our lifetimes, unless you're like a perfect human being, which no one's perfect. So, yeah. What about what are your experiences with anxiety or depression or both? Do you have stories for both? What do you?
I mean, disclaimer, I guess. I don't think either of us, I don't know about you, but I've never been like medically diagnosed with it. So we're literally going based off of what we learned in school and just previous experiences and, understanding what certain things were, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I have a couple. I feel like I have a couple of experiences with both anxiety and depression. I don't know. I feel like I should go get a diagnosis because motherfucker, my shit might be chronic. But I have my ups, I have my downs. I feel like I can if some people were to ask me like how was 2018, I'd probably be like, man, don't talk to me about 2018, man. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, anxiety, I have had jobs or a job in the past that I would wake up every morning and I would have like the, what would you call it? The shivers. And I would wake up and I would just lay there kind of like shaking. And at the time I was like, man, why, am I sick or whatever? Mm-hmm. And it would even lead to like so far as like I would go to the bathroom and like I would throw up of like anxiety. So I've had that before, and I eventually like I learned. I was like, because I was like, damn, should I have gone to the doctor? Who knows, maybe. But that's an anxiety kind of thing.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I think, well, of course, well, actually, I'll talk about that later. But anxiety, I think one time that I feel that I actually had it, because I feel like, of course, we all have anxiety. There's anxiety that is natural and that it's supposed to happen. It's an emotion that we have to have, But there was one time where I remember just the thought of a person would get my heart racing, and it would be like, and I had to go to work with this person. So it was during my time at Jersey Mike's, and I remember, dude, I'm a pretty patient guy, and this person, like, they knew how to push my buttons. And dude, I remember just even being in like the proximity of that person, I would like feel something in my chest, like it just felt like everything shaking, and I would be like, dude, I gotta go outside and breathe. And it didn't help that the AC there didn't work, and it was like 100 degrees in the store. So, but that's one of the few times where I actually experienced like anxiety, where I had to actually go into the walk-in or go outside or take a break and just be like, dude, I'm like, what's going on or whatever. And then, because I remember one time she was working with me, and it was like a big rush. A bunch of people were at the store, and I'm like, and if you guys have been to a Jersey Mike's, you have the one guy who's slicing, and he's kind of commanding everything. I was the manager, of course. And I remember I was like, I stopped slicing, and I just stood there for a good like 2 minutes in all the chaos. And like, I remember I wanted to break down and cry, I've never had that feeling before. I was like, dude, I want to cry right now and just like say, F it, I quit.
You can blur it out, but was it?
No.
No?
No.
Who? If I know, okay.
It was the.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. That was one time, and then I think the only time I've had like real depression, I think, was when my first girlfriend died. I think that was, it was the first time I ever experienced losing someone that close to me. So I think that was a really hard one. I think what really helped me there was you guys, my friends, being there, and just surrounding myself by positive people, you know, and I could talk to them about it. So yeah, that's our general
our little stories, I guess.
Our experience with anxiety and depression. I'm pretty sure there's more that we either don't want to remember or don't want to talk about, so we're not going to speak.
I mean, yeah, because I didn't really because like I said, I don't know. I as I got older, I was like, man, I don't know. When I started learning more about depression, I'm like, damn, it feels like this, and I'm like, huh. I might have had that shit since I was like 10, bro. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I think, if I'm being straight up, I think for me, I think when I started really getting it, probably when I would say that it started for me was probably like when I was like, I think I was like 14 or 15. Specifically, you know, there are a couple different things going on at the time, but I think I was just surrounded by a lot of negativity, and I didn't know how to navigate it at the time. So, I mean, you know, and then, like I said, I think I've just had it since. I can't pinpoint it to just one specific time, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a lot better now. Like, I think, as you get older, you learn to
cope with it better.
Yeah. But
yeah,
we got to get into it. So,
yes.
You know, that's us. But what exactly, you know, how did we come to try to understand anxiety and depression?
Yeah. So before we move on, I wanted to kind of give you guys just a general like definition of anxiety and depression, because I mean, like, just off the top of your head, what do you think about when you think of anxiety, Beto? Like don't
I would say when I think of anxiety, it's just a feeling. You just feel like something is wrong, or like you're not all there.
Yeah,
I would say.
You could also say that about depression too, though. You know, so that's why like that's why it gets confused, the two emotions. Emotions. Would you call them emotions? Depression. Yeah. Well, anyways, anxiety is basically a emotion that it's a combination of like fear, worry, and unease. And then I think some of the symptoms are like you know, your heart's racing, like when I said that lady would be in my vicinity, sweating, difficulty breathing. And I'm getting this information, by the way. I'm not just spewing this out from the DSM-5, all right? This is the Bible of psychology.
He's got it on deck, all right?
Look,
don't question him.
I try to tag him by his thing, but I haven't finished it. It's too long. But yeah, so I'm not just spewing this out of the top of my head, all right? Just letting you guys know that. But yeah, and like I said before, anxiety is normal. Like, it's a normal emotion. You're gonna have anxiety when you're getting ready for the big interview, getting ready for the big sporting event, or whatever your big thing is coming up. You're gonna have some anxiety. That's normal. That's your natural response to, you know, push a little harder. It's just when it starts getting more, it interferes more with your daily life, and you know, that worry is a little more persistent every day, then you may have an actual anxiety disorder, you know. Because anxiety isn't just, oh, hey, I have anxiety, then boom, you know, that's my disorder. There's classifications to this shit, you know. I don't know. Did you want to? Oh, go ahead.
So, because you were saying like anxiety and depression, there's a fine line between them. I always considered anxiety. So they're both disorders, right? Because you can have anxiety without technically having depression.
No, of course.
But I think if you have depression, like if you're going through a spurt of depression, I think you can't or a lot of the time you won't have or you will have anxiety. I meant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Like I think. Wait. Yeah. I think this depression is like a disorder, and anxiety can be like one of the things that leads to it. But I think anxiety itself is a symptom of depression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I completely agree. Yeah. So yeah, and then let's just in that case let's just move on to the depression definition, which is it's not just feeling sad or down. It's it impacts how you feel, think, and how you function in daily life. So basically, the stuff that you would find fun initially is no longer fun. So in my case, like say gaming with the boys, I get on the game, and if I'm not feeling that, like that's there's something wrong, you know, possibly. And I read, and I forgot where I was reading it, but it was a cool little thing that said, imagine your internal emotional thermostat is stuck on low, and basically it's a pervasive sense of emptiness, hopelessness, and just loss of interest. I think that was a really good I guess way to word it. And then let's see here. And I feel a common misconception that about depression is that like whoever has it is either flawed or weak, like emotionally. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I never really liked that classification of depression because I mean, sure, some people are like more prone to getting depression, but it's a combination of different things. Like it could be through genetics. You could get depression through genetics and become easier. Brain chemistry, life events. Some people's lives are harder than others, man. Some people have been through stuff that others will never understand. And then, of course, just medical conditions in general. So, but the good news about depression is that it is like treatable. You can help yourself out of depression. That makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So both or do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, I think you got it, and you were, like you said, that definition that you said, it's not necessarily the best, because I mean, is it true that at the time of whenever you go into depression, maybe you're a little weak? Yeah, but I don't think it's like an overall kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think you're strong enough to pull yourself out of it. So, you know, 100%. I don't think you're always mentally weak, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's just how depression works. Like it makes you feel like you're hopeless. It makes you feel like there's no other way out. It wants you to think that. Mm-hmm. But that's never the case. You have the strength to pull yourself out. You have the strength to, you know, make these changes to help yourself get better. So I think that's why, like, sometimes when you're depressed, man, like you gotta try to, it also has to come from you. You have to try to, you know, maybe go, you know, talk to build a support system, you know, and really work with them to kind of help you get out of this place that you're at. Mm-hmm. And so, as you guys heard from those that definition of both, they share similar vulnerabilities. The genetics, the imbalances, and the life trauma. They can cause both anxiety and depression. You know, if you've been traumatized so many times, you're going to be looking behind your back. You're going to be looking around the corners and stuff because of, you know, you're scared. You have anxiety. Mm-hmm. So that could, anxiety and depression do, like you said, actually, they do come hand in hand. They could fuel each other into like a brutal cycle where, you know, you're constantly worried. Next thing you know, those worries lead up to hopelessness and then depression. Mm-hmm. And it keeps on beating down on you. So I'm fortunate to not have gone that deep into depression. But I mean, I don't know if, well, I'm not going to ask you if you have or not. I don't think that'd be appropriate unless you want to share. But
I mean, yeah, it's like, so yeah, I mean, I've gotten pretty deep a couple of times, you know, but Yeah, I don't know. I think you keep going, and then we'll talk about it later.
Okay. And how do you distinguish? Like, another question you need to ask yourself too is how do you distinguish yourself, like what you have? You know, anxiety or depression. You know, so anxiety is more, I would say, fear based. So you're more afraid of something in the future of happening, and that's what kind of makes you on edge or gives you anxiety. And depression is more like present based. Something just happened or something is happening that is causing this hopelessness, causing this, you know, drag on yourself, on your emotions.
Yeah. So I mean, we haven't touched on it yet, but it's like for anxiety, there's different kinds of anxiety.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like one example, obviously, is the social anxiety. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have social anxiety. And then there's a bunch of others, right? But you know, I think for us mainly, I mean, from what we know, we probably know more about just general anxiety and social anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the main like top ones, the ones that most people know about. I would go into more, but there's like I said, look at this damn book. This is all of the mental disorders that are known to us. So I didn't want to just list them out. You guys be bored as heck listening to that. So yeah. So Beto, what's the move if you have this stuff or you think you do? Like, what's your next move after that?
Man. Okay. Well, I mean, first things first is you have to become aware. I think, depending on how you're raised and where you come from and all of that, it can take, I guarantee you there's some people right now that are our age, mid-20s, even older, that refuse to believe any of this exists, Like, I mean, I'll put it out there. I mean, like, my mom, she didn't even, she didn't believe in any of like that, like the mental health stuff until like maybe a few years ago. And and she's in her 50s, right?
Yeah.
So it just depends, how you're raised. I don't know about you, like, I don't know.
No, for sure. Yeah, the cultural aspect is a really big like thing when it comes to being depressed and actually knowing that you're depressed or have anxiety, because I mean, I've seen it in my job a lot where these kids, they know that they have something, or not that they have something, but they have this, depression or anxiety, and their culture doesn't really allow them to accept that as an answer. It's almost seen as like a phase. It's almost seen as like, oh, you'll get over it. It's like you're 15 years old. You're not gonna like that. Don't get that stuff.
Yeah. So like, because I've seen a lot of people that grow up. I'm talking from a Mexican standpoint.
Yeah.
Specifically, I've seen a lot of people growing up, and they they're anti all of that stuff, right? Anti, like, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have anything, like, whatever, Because, I mean, a lot of us growing up, it was, if you felt something and maybe you shared it with your parents, it was like oh, brother, like, lock the fuck in, bro, But it was it's a cultural thing, and I think it's up to us, specifically moving forward, to get rid of the stigma. That's culturally, and then we also can talk about gender. I think men have a hard time talking about it, or admitting it, or acknowledging it, and they're like, oh man, like I'm a man, I'm not supposed to be nervous about this, like, and I think we're gonna have to be the ones that remove the stigma.
I've seen it a lot, or I've seen people I guess, evolve more to see, like, to have that point of view. And I'll say that as well, like with my parents. I think my parents, luckily they have done a really good job at, like, kind of being able to understand that mental health is taking a bigger stand nowadays, in a bigger scope, and taken more seriously. When before, if maybe you asked my parents like 15 years ago, you know, like, they would have been like, nah, you know, they know it's real, but at the same time, like, it's not, I guess, too serious. So yeah, for sure. That's yeah, I agree.
And I think we see it a lot. You know, especially nowadays online, you see a lot of like, why are so many people now have anxiety? Like, or like, how are so many kids now being diagnosed with all of this stuff, you know? And like, almost like if it's like a problem or if it's being pushed, like it's an agenda or something, you know, which is stupid. I think it's just a thing of, obviously there's the internet, right? And you see all these things, right? But I think a lot of parents now, we can say whatever we want. A lot of the newer parents are gonna do a great job when it comes to the mental health aspect, hopefully. You know, and I think that's why you see so many diagnoses now, right? You see so many kids like, this kid has general anxiety disorder. He was diagnosed with depression. And I think it's just like, hey, I mean, sometimes, you know, people just get it. The trauma happens and that's it. You're chronically depressed now. But it's to the point now where parents are a lot more understanding now, you know? Yeah. Like, if I told you like 15 years ago I have anxiety and I went up to my mom like, I think I have anxiety, we should go to the doctor, she would have told me to shut the fuck up. Like, yeah, you know? And then there's other like financial aspects about it, or, you know, but yeah. No kidding. Yeah, so if you guys have, I mean, like I said, if you think you have this stuff or you do, the easy answer is professional help therapy. I know therapy is expensive, but if you guys want to know more, cognitive behavioral therapy is what they most likely help with depression or anxiety. It's called CBT, and basically that helps you, like, or you work with the therapist. You could also do this with a friend or something, but I mean, of course, the therapist knows how to navigate the technique. But basically, the whole premise is, you know, you're identifying like the negative patterns of like your thoughts and your anxiety, depression, all that stuff, and then you kind of challenge it and you restructure your thoughts in a way to where you kind of view it from a different point of view, from the outside point of view, maybe. You know, because the way we see ourselves is not the way, you know, other people see us at all. So yeah, and then of course, developing the appropriate coping skills for to manage these complex emotions and behaviors, like relaxation techniques and like, or even just problem solving skills. Yeah, and another thing is to, if therapy is not your thing, changing your lifestyle, and exercising your connection between your physical activity and mental health. I know, even if it's just a walk, like going on a walk, I'm not saying go run 5 miles, you know, but just something as simple as going for a walk and, you know, kind of taking that time for yourself to kind of think about everything. 'Cause that's something that I feel a lot of us fail to do is, no, life, when you get to a certain age, life is just happening, man. Shit's going left and right. You're not taking a time for yourself to kind of like reset and be like, all right, I'm ready for what comes next. We're kind of trained to be like, go, and never focus on ourselves. So that, and then sleep is, we're going to come back to this a lot in the podcast. Sleep is a really big fucking deal. And I have trouble with sleeping too. I sleep late at night. I do need to work better on it, but you know,
And then diet is a big one too.
And I think so. You know, I don't know too much on it, but I think it goes both ways. I think, you know, some people are going to look at it and be like, you know, I've been feeling really depressed, but, you know, I work out, you know, daily, and I do this, and maybe I eat healthy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know. Maybe, you know, I don't know the science behind it or anything, or if it would work or not, but maybe don't work out too much and then find something else. Or if your diet is really good, I don't know, man, throw a fucking chocolate bar in there, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Feel a little happy. But, you know, I think it's like how you said, it's everything all at once, right? Fatigue and sleep and all of that. But it's not like we're saying like, oh man, go get yourself, you know, 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep or whatever. But I mean, everybody knows their body. I mean, I can tell you right now, I think I get, on the days where I go to work or school, I get, I don't know, maybe 6 hours of sleep. And to me, if I can hit 6 hours specifically, I'm feeling okay.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes I can even do it with like 5, but give me 3 and I'll be tired. Give me, you know, sometimes I when I don't go to work, school, I sleep in you know, 8, 9, 10 hours and I don't feel good.
Yeah.
So it's, everybody knows their body, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, sometimes you haven't gone sleep so long that you don't know what sleep makes you comfortable, you know? Sometimes you're always waking up going to sleep at the same time at night and waking up early in the morning. You never felt what it's like to have a full night's rest. So sometimes, you know, taking that, even if it's like one night a week or even a couple nights a week, just, you know, hey, you know what? I'm going to sleep at 9 today or 8 today and see how I feel when I wake up in the morning at, you know, if you wake up at 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning. See how your body reacts to that. You know, it doesn't hurt to test your boundaries, to test what, you know, how your body works. I think that was a good point. Yeah, because of course none of this stuff is like instant. Your depression's healed. You know, you're not gonna go for a walk and be like, I'm done being depressed. No, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take several attempts. It's just that those baby steps of, you know, closely getting, you know, better. You know, little by little, you know, one step at a time.
And to add on to it, the whole, sometimes life just piles it on so hard, right? And I think another aspect is you need to get the right people around you. I think if you don't have the right people around you, you know, and life is just piling it, you know, one thing after another, and maybe you're going home and the people at home aren't, you know, they're not healthy, you know, that you need to look at that too, you know?
Yeah, no, of course. That's, I think I spoke about it earlier, is the support network, like building that, knowing who's in your support circle and knowing when to go to them when you need it. And I know sometimes you can't, you know, especially you young folk out there, teenagers. I mean, sometimes you have to go home. You can't just go wherever you want, whenever. I know there's some, you know, kind of from a Latino background, you know, my parents, I'm home, you know, unless I ask 2 weeks ahead of time or some shit. But knowing how to kind of, I guess, manage those emotions while you're there at home, and then being able to express those with your friends or with your support network to kind of help yourself cope with it until you get at that age where, you know, you could leave that environment. And that's one thing I feel that always I'm not saying I came from a lot of anxiety and, you know, trauma and stuff, but I always thought in the back of my head, like, one day I'm gonna get out of here. One day I'm gonna be able to be old enough to move out and do what I want. And that's what kind of,
I feel, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not everybody, but, you know, And even that can lead to some decisions that maybe you're like, oh damn, maybe I made the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
But to add on to it, don't ignore. I can probably say that a lot of my anxiety is genetic. I think I got it passed down from specifically my mom. I think my mom has it like a lot, and I think I got a good heap of it, a good head start into having anxiety. But you have to take that into account too, and then mixed with everything else, shit happens.
Yeah. And there is gonna be, and I'm gonna put a disclaimer at the beginning of this podcast, but there is times where depression can get extreme, where suicide ideation becomes a factor, and when that happens, you guys gotta basically you gotta make sure you reach out for help. Going back to the support network, going to your friends and telling them, hey, this is what I feel, this is what I've been thinking. Asking for help. If they're in your support network, they're there to help you. I'll tell you, if one of my friends told me like, hey, I'm feeling this way, I'm there, I'm gonna help them, every step of the way. If you guys are in I don't know if this is nationally, the suicide hotline is 988. Have you heard of that?
988.
Yeah, it's kind of like the 911, but 988. It's a suicide hotline.
I know about the other one. I know about the 1-800 one.
Oh, you do? Yeah. So and
also, shout out Logic, but 988
is like an emergency.
That's probably just like the speed dial, no?
It's like a 24-hour suicide hotline, basically. Where if you're feeling some way or you're having these thoughts, you could 988, and it said it's 24 hours. I'll read up on it again, but I'm pretty sure it's a 24-hour hotline. There's also 1-800-273-TALK, and that's also 1-800-273-8255. And then for more information about all these mental disorders, or if you want to look more into depression and anxiety, you also go to Mentalhealth.gov, and they have a lot of information there. That's where I got some of these facts that I wanted to share with you guys.
And then to continue on, like we were saying, sometimes it gets that hard, it gets that deep, and it's important to understand that there are certain things in this world that help you feel better, but it's important to not overdo it. I don't know about you, but I can say I went through a time in my life where alcohol was my outlet, right? I could probably say like, yeah, like weekly I was probably getting fucking railed in my head, with alcohol. But that's just why, it's a, what's the word? What is it? It's a coping mechanism. My bad. Okay. There you go.
I was gonna say addiction, but I don't know if that's where you're going.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, but, yeah, I used to be all over that shit,
Yeah.
And it's important to note, like, even though you're going to feel good, right? Depending on who's surrounding you while you're taking the alcohol, and you're going to feel great. Eventually you have to wake up, and eventually the feeling's going to be gone, and you can't just keep doing that.
Yeah.
You need to let people know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and just know that you guys have the strength to come out of it. You guys have the strength to pull through. This emotion isn't going to last forever. The more you try to pull yourself out, the more, like, even if it's like a baby step, little bit, progress is progress. That little bit every day will turn into a big step one day. So yeah, guys, if you're ever feeling that way, we're with you. You got support, man. And Power through, man.
Power through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's important to say too, like suicide ideation. It's not the same as like, I forgot what the term was, but we all get like those little things when you're driving on the freeway and you're just like you're just driving home and you're just like, I wonder if I just like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not. I wouldn't consider that. That's not suicide ideation, you know.
That's more of an intrusive thought, I feel.
It's an intrusive thought, right? So obviously you can't get them confused, you know. Maybe some you're gonna have intrusive thoughts, and suicide ideation is just when you're down horrendous and you're like, maybe you're drinking by yourself in your room and all of a sudden you're like, man, look at that, look at those pill bottles on my nightstand, you know, they look delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to not give in to that temptation.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like that to suicide ideation doesn't mean you're suicidal either. Suicide ideation is more so like I'm thinking about it, or like you start thinking about, you know, maybe everyone else would be better off if I wasn't here or if I wasn't present. Mm-hmm. Of course that's not true, but it's just those little, like, you're starting to think about, like, you know what, like maybe me not being here, maybe it would be easier. That's when, you know, that's when it begins. And then as you know, if those emotions start getting more and more, I guess, greater, then there's the attempt. You attempt to, you know, do that stuff, and that's what we're trying to prevent. So yeah, once again, guys, suicide hotline 1-800-273-TALK, or 988 if you're feeling it. I don't know what the difference is between those two. I'll have to look into it.
I'm pretty sure the hotline is like a last stand, and the prevention one can be either or. Like if you're just like having thoughts, whereas the hotline is probably like, I'm gonna do it. Like I need somebody to talk me out of it.
Oh, okay.
Where the other one might be like, I'm pretty sure the other one's like, I'm having thoughts, but I don't know, you know, and that's like trying to talk you out of it.
I could see that. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, but yeah, guys, that is all that we have for you guys today. If you guys have any other questions or have any questions about this stuff that we want us to answer in the next episode, we will for sure. Well, the next one.
Yeah, if you have any specific questions, like we can touch on it at the beginning of the next episode, or you can just message either of us, I guess.
Yeah, on Twitter.
Or the Movecast on Twitter and X. TikTok, or X, TikTok. I don't know what else we have, and we still need to work on, but yeah. Sorry if the episode was a little too serious, but you know, it happens. You know,
we're gonna have some of these. But we'll come up with some brighter topics. But I just
we love you.
We love you guys, and we hope this was a helpful episode, and we hope you guys had a good time learning about this stuff. And you know, like I said, share your stories, man. Yeah. If you guys want, you don't have to ask questions. You can share your stories. You don't have to. It could be anonymous too. And yeah, we'll be more than happy to acknowledge it. And you probably have a high chance of being in one of the episodes, because right now we don't get many of those.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have any today because no one did it last time. But anyways.
But yeah, overall,
follow my boy Lost and Found. Shout out to him for the beats, intro, outro.
Yeah. I don't know if you want. Are you gonna put sources in the? Any sources?
I don't know if I could put the DSM-5, but the DSM-5, and then I'll put the Mentalhealth.gov down below. And yeah, guys. So thank you for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Next time.
Later. Jeez. All right.